guys, welcome back. I'm going to be working on this valance. I need to have this ready by Saturday. I forgot. I just am now starting to work on it, and I don't know how much gas is left in my tank. The one needle's on all the way down, but when I open the valve, it's still, the other needle went up. So hopefully I have enough to at least get it started and tacked on. Then tomorrow I can get more gas for it. But as you can see, this whole corner is missing right here, and then we have a big rust hole here and here. So I want to start with the area that's missing. I'm going to kind of use the other side to mock it up. There's a dent right here, but I'm not going to worry about that just right now. I'll worry about hammering that out afterwards. My main goal is to get the metal welded back together. So I have a piece of 22 gauge here, which is about the same thickness as what they used on this originally, maybe a hair thinner, but I didn't want to go with 16 gauge. That's all that they had locally was 22 or 16, and 16 would have been really hard for me to bend. So we're going to use this 22 gauge, which will be plenty fine. So first thing I want to do is kind of hold this up here and take my marker and kind of mark where this bend is. And then obviously we'll have to flip it over to go on this side. And it looks like I'm gonna have to make it in two pieces. Maybe I can bend it around. I guess we could see if we can bend it on my vise over here. Move this fan out of the way. It's been so hot and humid here and having to use the fan a lot. Now I would go on my metal brake and bend this, but this has kind of got a curve to it. And I'm not trying to do a super big bend because it's not a real drastic bend. And that's another reason why I chose the 22 gauge, is because I knew I could manipulate it a little bit easier than, a lot easier than the 16 gauge. I just bent it the wrong way, didn't I? Sure did. No, I didn't. I did it right. Okay, let's see how this is giving. It's got a little bit of a radius. That's what we want. All right, let's go hold this up to it and see what it looks like. Now I might have to cut out right here as well, but I wanted to start somewhere. And that looks decent. Actually, it should probably come down to here. I'll have to make another piece right there. Okay, we gotta bend it more. It's actually like more than a 90-degree bend, I believe. gonna cut this right about here. Grab my goggles. Got some air nibblers. I'm gonna use that today. I think I'm just going to kind of just start welding it and cutting it and shaping it while it's on the panel. I think it's going to be a little bit easier. I'm going to have to use my cutoff wheel for this cut. Leave that piece on there for now. Well, let's see what we have gas-wise. This old metal is pretty weak. We're going to go down on the temperature a little bit. Actually, let me look at the chart here quick. So let me show you what I'm doing here. So I'm going to look at the welding chart. This actually, it's fairly accurate actually. So we're going to change it down to 20 gauge rather than 24. They don't have a 22 gauge setting. I have it set at like an 18 right now. So let's go to, we have 025 wire in there. We're going to go to 20 gauge and see how that does. So we're going to go down to 110 and then our voltage to 14.5. So come over here on the welder. We're going to go down to 110. and then 14.5. And then our wire speed, I don't know where that's got to be yet. Okay, it's good enough for now for that. So now what we have to do is start bending, cutting and shaping this piece. And the good thing is this stuff bends pretty easily. So I want to get a weld right there. All right, now I'm going to cut through both pieces right about here, over to there. So I'm going to use my cutoff wheel again. Okay, I'm through both pieces. I'm leaving that old piece underneath there for now. Now this is all getting butt welded together. There's no overlapping metal, so we don't have to worry about using any weld through primer because we're going to be able to treat it from both sides. Need to cut a little bit more right there. See that I didn't cut far enough. A little bit of a bigger gap there I got to weld in. That's all right. We'll get it. Okay, we'll go grab the hammer and dolly. Okay, now keep in mind this is 22 gauge. We don't have to smack it real hard with a hammer. It's a little bit better. I still got to work on it a little bit more, but once I get that old metal off the bottom side, we can work on that a little bit better. Okay, it looks like I need to cut right about here, but I need to shape this in a little bit first. This line needs to kind of go that way more. My bend is a little bit off right there. That's where it needs to be, right there. Grab something else. All right, I got this little handheld bender here. I use it for soffits and stuff like that. Kind of hoping I can kind of, it's not long enough. I can at least get the end in it. All right, let's cut through both of these again. I'm gonna have to change my wheel here soon. Yep, gotta go get a bigger wheel. Didn't cut all the way through the backside. Okay, let me put a couple more tack welds on here. I have to make a relief cut right here so that I can hammer it down, and we'll have to weld in the cut. Bigger gap here than I really wanted. Cut this old valance a little bit so I can just move it in a hair, literally like a 1/16 of an inch, and I can re-weld it together. That'll close up my gap. Okay, I could pry that back to where it's got to go. Okay, if you see here, what I did was where I had cut this to fold it, I obviously had a big gap there, so I've welded it in. So now it's to the contour that matches over on this side right here. See how that's got that? Now this has the same effect. So basically that's tacked on up here. Now we got to kind of shape this down here. I'm gonna do this in a few videos because it's gonna be long videos and I don't want to make them too long. So if I can just get this piece made tonight, I'd be happy. Maybe this little piece right here as well, so that we could tie this together. But I need to shape this because that looks like crap right now. Plus I need to get welding gas tomorrow, so I can only do so much tonight anyways. Let me take my helmet off for a minute. I'm gonna fix this dent down here real quick, if I can get to it. Much better. I'm gonna get this old metal out of here. What I'm doing is kind of tightening up this curve. So if you look, you can see what I'm shaping right here. See how this is starting? Geez, stripped on that. See how this is taking its shape now? And that's what I want to do. I'm mimicking that other side over there. I'm getting it to the same curve as what this one is. So you can see right here, this looks a little screwed up right in this area. So I'm going to kind of work this a little bit more. Okay, now you can look at it. Looks a lot better, a little bit off still, a little bit more to go, but it's pretty close to the other side right now. So let's stop with that for right now. Let's cut this piece out right here. We'll make that piece next. So we just need a piece right here to here, and then I'll probably make this piece separate. Find my markers right here. So we're just going to kind of go in here, draw this curve. That's what I got to cut out. Just use my cutoff wheel for this. I'm going to kind of round this a little bit. Now I made my mark onto here. I'm going to cut to the inside of the mark so that I have more metal to work with. And it's a tighter joint when I put it together. Throw some more tack welds on here. Start with the new metal. If you see me hold the welder farther back from the metal, what I'm trying to do is fill in a bigger spot, and it seems that I have better control when I back the welder away a little bit. Everybody's going to do it differently. That's just how I do it. Now, once I'm done welding this all back together, there's probably going to be a few pinholes here and there. The metal is thin, it's rusty. I'm trying to clean it up the best I can. We're not going to go spending 100 hours rebuilding this valance. That's not worth it. But it's a rat rod style car. We're not doing a show car, making it perfect by any means. We're just trying to make this valance look good again because he couldn't find one in the time frame that we are looking for. So I told him, hey, let me fix this. It'll be good. There's gonna be a front bumper on here more than likely, which is gonna cover 90% of this anyways. But like I said, we'll get it. And then we're gonna Duraglass both sides of this panel. Bondo glass, Duraglass, whatever you call it. So we're gonna Bondo glass the outside and the inside. And what that's gonna do is seal any pinholes that are left over or the thin metal. It's gonna thicken it up a little bit, and it's gonna keep water away from the metal itself. So now that we got this one tacked on, I need to make a little triangle in here. So let's make that next. And then that's probably going to be it for this video. And then we'll move on. Tomorrow we'll make these last couple pieces, and then I'll weld all this up off camera. I'll come back, we'll grind it down, then we can get some Duraglass on there. But you can see how this curve now, it looks pretty darn good. It's a hair off right here. This has got to get tapped that way a tiny bit. This has got to get tapped that way a tiny bit. But I can manipulate that a little bit, you know, at a time as I see fit. And then before I do the filler, I want to try to get that as straight as possible because I don't want to put filler on that edge. I want to keep that edge with the least amount of filler on it. So I don't want to take filler and glob it over top and then me make a new radius out of Bondo. I don't want to do that. So let me cut a little piece for right here. And this has got to get tapped in because this right here needs to get tapped in so that it matches that contour a little bit better. So we should probably do that first. So I'm going to use this side of this dolly because this is a more rounded, this is more of a straight piece. I only have a couple different style dollies. This dolly here is too big. It's not radiused enough. I have two of these different ones of these, which once again, I think this is going to be my better bet. Now you can tell I've got that radius back now. You can see how I've got this pretty much matching this now. If you look, see where these hammer marks are right here? They're pretty much in line with this inner body line. And then here's my outer body line right there. So we're real close there. That's the nice thing about metal. You could shape it and make it do whatever you want it to do. But you got to kind of learn where to take from and where not to, you know what I mean? So you learn how to stretch the metal and bend it. And that's just comes from experience. That just takes time to learn. There's no real fast way about it. So I'm going to cut this right here. And I'm going to cut it right here. Let me grind away this paint before I change my wheel to my cutter. Oh, it's hot. Probably have my gloves on. Once again, we'll start with the new metal. Okay, now I am welding right on this curved edge. So I have a gap here. I'm gonna leave that gap there, really fill it in with some weld so that I can grind that radius back into it. I might have to tap it a tiny bit, but for the most part, I wanna leave it a little bit big so I can get some extra weld in there. Okay, I kept that edge hot the whole time I was grinding it or welding it so that it kind of puddled down in there really good. So let's grind that edge, see what it looks like. That's a little low there. Need to dolly that up a little bit. Much better. I gotta change my backing plate on here. This is an old one and it wore down. But here's what it looks like so far. You can see how we've got our radius reconnected here and we're coming straight down through. So now it looks just like the other side. Remember, all this was screwed up and missing right here. It's now back together. It's not welded all the way yet, but we got it tacked up. We got it real close to where we want it. A little bit of work more with the hammer and dolly. You got to cut this piece out right here. That's bad right in there. So tomorrow we'll do this little piece here. We'll knock out these two pieces over here. This, I guess I can make a little corner piece. I don't know how crazy I'm going to get with making the return lip underneath here. Once again, he's not super, concerned about it. This is going to look a million times better than what it did, but we're going to get it to look good. I might make a return lip. I'm not sure yet. So that's going to be it for this video, guys. If you like this kind of stuff, make sure you come back tomorrow night. I'm going to be working on it again tomorrow. Video will be out tomorrow night, so make sure you come back, and we'll wrap up the rest of these rust holes. Everything will be tacked together at that point, and then at that point I'll go off camera, finish weld everything, and then I'll come back, show you what it's going to look like when I start. I'll start grinding it a little bit on camera, then I'll finish grinding it off camera, and then we'll get the Duraglass on, which will be tomorrow, which is Wednesday. Thursday I'll do all the body work and primer it, so that Saturday it'll be ready for sanding and paint. So thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you guys later.